They call it Guns Point because like when I was living out there, like a couple people were dying every day, gunshots, every night. To be great at something, like to be the best, you gotta have, like you had to be in the trench. Like I had lost my home, my dogs, my clothes, my toys and everything. So it was just crazy.
And we walked in, bro. I mean, he went in with his team first. We had to wait outside. We walked in through you know how the players come in,
The
through the
tunnel.
tunnel, bro. I was
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
oh, this is tough. He went out there, man. He was just balling, playing, having fun. But it was like a good experience for him, I think. I was
Yeah.
like, fuck. We was in the stands yelling for him and shit. So
You got to feel it at that level, kind of. Like, what
yeah,
it
bro,
kind of be
kinda,
like? Yeah.
kinda. I mean, we got beat, but he had fun, bro. He had a couple tackles. He's a fullback he's a fullback on offense, and on defense he's a linebacker.
Okay.
Yeah, so he likes to hit.
Yeah,
Did you play
yeah,
football
yeah,
growing
yeah,
up?
yeah. So I played similar positions. So I played linebacker and then tight end. So
Tight end.
yeah.
Yeah. See, right now what I'm trying to teach him at a linebacker, bro, is sometimes he'd be like, I have to tell him to pop his feet before he takes off running, cause they'll say hike and he'll just go.
Go, yeah.
Yeah, and I'm like, bro, like next thing you know, dude's over here on the side.
Yeah,
you
gotta
know?
you gotta be ready for that pass.
Yeah, facts. I'm like, bro, you better start moving to the side. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? But it was fun, bro. Hopefully one day I can get Dylan out here.
Yeah, yeah.
I don't know if you knew this, but I used to cut Dylan.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, yeah.
Have you ever met him?
Yeah, he buys a lot of my stuff.
Oh, for real?
Yeah, yeah. So him and his girlfriend are pretty cool. His girlfriend models for me a lot. So
Oh, for real?
yeah, yeah.
Damn.
And then Avery,
Have you got him some gear yet?
got him some stuff, some tees and stuff. They were both supposed to model on my last show, but they ended up having like spring football. Not spring football, but football season was like getting
On the roll?
rolling. Yeah, so they're doing a lot of practices and
Yeah.
stuff like that. So
I like them a
scrimmages.
lot, bro, because they really do be supporting a lot of people here in town.
No, they
You know what
are.
I'm
They
saying?
are.
They're hella cool, hella humble, especially Dylan. I saw him at one of my barbers had a baby shower, and he was there, and I was like chopping it up on him, and I was like, man, it was just like when I used to cut your hair. It was like he was bro, no lie. I still to this day remember I used to cut him every Wednesday
Dang.
at 9 a.m. His dad used to bring him. Did you ever meet his dad? Have you ever met his dad? He's hella cool too, man. But he was in 6th grade, bro. I used to cut him at 9 a.m. and I used to be like, bro, why ain't you at school? Because school starts at 9. It's to be a school day, And he's like, man, my dad has me train at 7 a.m. before I go to 7 a.m. or 8 a.m. I can't remember, with the trainer and run hills before I go to school, and then I come get cut on Wednesday because I got games on the weekends. He was playing baseball and football at the time, and I was like, he would leave, bro. I'd chop him up, and he would leave. And I used to tell, there was a girl, Tasha, that used to work next to me, and I used to be like, bro, he's gonna be big. Watch. He was just hella mature at a young age, bro.
Yeah.
And so it was crazy seeing that. What have you gave him? What gear?
So he has a couple T-shirts, custom pants,
Some custom
some
pants.
and his girlfriend has a tapestry hoodie, some shirts, pants.
Mm-hmm. Like these? Are they the
No,
little-
he had some crazy ones. They're like fur, like gorilla fur.
Oh shit.
So all over.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, those are. That's what he got from me. That's when he was at Colorado, though.
Yeah.
So,
Man,
yeah.
I was gonna ask you, bro. So I put these on, and I was like telling my girl, I was like, man, these are fit perfectly. You know why? Because I don't step on them.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like they're really like I don't have any pants like this. They're really like, what is it? Open at the bottom,
Yeah, baggy wide.
baggy wide, and bro, I think they're size 34, but perfect on the waist, perfect on the sides, and I'm like standing up straight, bro, and like it's literally touching the floor, but it's like to a point where I'm like,
You ain't gonna trip on.
I'm
it.
not gonna trip on them.
Yeah,
I'm not
yeah.
gonna step on them. How'd you do that?
So, damn, really, it's just so I unhem the bottom. Most of the time, I'll do like a size smaller because when you unhem it, it gives you like a little extra, like 1.5 to 2 inches to work with. So, did that and I figured it out.
Yeah.
It just falls perfect. I
Really?
mean, most people either sits how you say it or how it is, or it comes up like a little higher, like right there, right by the soul.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Damn. That's
pretty
crazy. Well, for those of you guys listening, this is the second time that we shoot YBG, you know, Mark. We shot him like 2 weeks ago, and man, we just couldn't get a hold of the audio afterwards.
Yeah.
So, and it's been kind of crazy, man, because the first time I was supposed to shoot Mark, I got sick. The second time we rescheduled, we had a great podcast, and couldn't get a hold of the audio. We're going to go shoot again, and Mark got sick.
Yeah, then I got sick.
And we had to reschedule again. And I was like, yo, what the hell is going on? Like, everything's been kind of going smooth. And then I was like, you know what? I was like, I'm going to take advantage of this one because I had a lot of time to think.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, man, you know what? Let's go ahead and shoot at Knockout. I was like, because this is where you got your gear at. It's like literally right there.
It's my turf.
Your turf. I was like, you know what? Let's go over there and shoot it, man. When they get out, we'll turn the lights on. Because, you know, for those who don't know, my podcast is called After Hours.
Mm-hmm.
You know, so this is literally after hours where you work.
Yeah,
you know, so it worked out perfectly, man. When we had the podcast, I really got to know you, but on a surface level. Because not on a surface level, because I had a lot of good questions for you.
Mm-hmm.
But it was a lot of questions that maybe a lot of people who know you already know.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying? And after talking to you last time, bro, I really got to know you on the side of like what really inspires you and what keeps you going and stuff, you know. And it was really eye-opening and it was dope, you know. So I'm glad we get to run it again because I'm like, man, now I got these different questions for him.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But for those who don't know, man, he makes clothing. You know, you make clothing. It's all right behind you. You make a lot of it, right? Or everything.
Pretty much everything that comes by, I have some kind of, I touched it in some kind of way. I have something I done to it. So yeah,
that's what's up. One of the questions that I had for you first, bro, so we can get started, was, what's one of the first memories you have of actually being inspired to start making clothes?
Yeah, so honestly, my first memory was, I'd say I was probably about 8th grade, freshman in high school. Actually, it was 8th grade going to my freshman year of high school.
Uh-huh.
My mom, for all of our birthdays and stuff, she would always make us like outfits and stuff kind of themed to whatever our party was.
Mm-hmm.
Not really my party,
Yeah.
but my younger brother's party. So I was just always peeped that. But during the summer, she was making something for her friends. And I was like, those pants are kind of hard. Look, those are some cool pants.
Mm-hmm.
She was adding the distressings, you know, the rips and everything, kind of like what you got, what I got.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, man, that's cool. So that kind of is what really triggered me on like making or like observing someone making clothes in front of me.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it was my mom. So
Your mom. And then from there on, you kind of, even before that, bro, were you already like thinking about, like, were you picky with the clothes you wore?
No, so honestly, I was just one of those kids. I had basketball shorts, sweatpants, hoodie, you know. I say freshman year of high school, I really kind of switched up my style a lot, though. I was still kind of cozy, you know, but I had some more like swag to me. I was putting more effort in my outfits for sure.
Yeah. Do you think that was because it was high school?
Yeah.
And everybody was kind of dripped out? You probably went in there and saw a couple seniors or whatever.
Yeah, most definitely.
Yeah.
And then definitely playing sports and everything. I couldn't be.
Yeah.
Our coaches actually on game days made us dress up. So every game day we had to dress up in a suit, tie. So, you know, a couple of days out the week we had to actually, you know, put some effort in.
Did you like dressing up like that sometimes?
At first I didn't, honestly. I was
Yeah.
like, man, I hate this. But after a while I was like, you know what, hold on. This kind of tough. So,
Kind of like real game, like NFL stuff.
yeah, like NBA, NFL.
What did
like-
you play?
I played football and basketball, but like growing up, I was baseball heavy. Like that was my best sport probably.
So coming out of, and this was when you were, where did you live at this time?
Houston.
Houston?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Because I remember you were saying that you weren't from Wichita.
Yeah, no.
Yeah,
Houston
you kind of
native.
just landed here.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So can you explain how you kind of made it to Wichita?
Yeah, so I came out here to Wichita on a basketball scholarship to Sterling. It's like a last chance youth situation for me. I just I I came and I wanted to leave like instantly, just because coming from like a big city.
Oh, you
And
wanted to leave Wichita?
no, Sterling or
Oh,
Kansas in
Sterling,
general.
Kansas. Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
because I wasn't in Wichita right away.
Okay,
So
you went to a small
I
town.
went to a small town
Mm-hmm.
and I was like, man, like I need to get out. Like, no way I could do this. And then ended up just staying the whole year there, thugging it out. And then met my girlfriend there. And then that's really how I ended up out here. I mean, she's from here. So I visited Wichita a few times, hung out here for a few weeks. And at first I didn't really like it. But then it kind of grew on me just because it's kind of like a big city in its own way, just because how everyone supports like businesses, like
Mm-hmm.
all the businesses kind of thrive.
Yeah.
But what really made me like it is like how many local people support local businesses.
Yeah.
Like most of the businesses out here are like local, in Texas, Houston, it's like name brand, big brands everywhere. So you really don't get that local feel out there. So
You just see a lot of people here trying to bring a big city feel to Wichita. You know what I mean? Like, I feel like that's what you guys did with this space.
yeah.
You know what I mean? For those of you who don't know, we're at Knockout, right? It's what it's called, Knockout?
Yeah, knockout.
Knockout. I've only been here once. This is my second time being in here. And after setting up and, like, really looking around, like, this is something you see in the big city, It's not something that, like, a lot of people here from Wichita, like, if I was to bring my kids here, they would be like, what? Where are we at?
Yeah,
You know what I mean? So it's cool to be in here and cool to see what you guys did. I know that this wasn't your first spot.
No.
You know what I'm saying? Can you tell me, like, how, like, it actually started, bro? Like, because when I first met you, we met at you were selling clothes at, where was the pop-up at again? By Century 2? What's that pop-up you guys, I think it's on Sundays and Mondays. You guys might
Shop and Grub.
Shop and Grub.
Yeah,
That's when I seen you, man. That's when I bought these pants. And you were there, you were making clothes like live in front of everybody.
Yeah.
And that's, like I said, when I first walked around from everybody, I was like, man, this is not usual. Not a lot of people do stuff like that. I've been living in Wichita my whole life, and yeah, things are getting more creative, more people putting themselves out there. But I kind of automatically knew, I was like, man, this guy probably ain't from Wichita.
Yeah,
you know what I
yeah.
mean? So, working at Shop and Grub and, like, doing these pop-ups, bro, what did you gain from that? Before you
Yeah.
started opening up your big spaces, like, what did you get from that?
Yeah, so definitely I learned how to engage with my customers. So like when I first did markets, I wouldn't really talk to anyone. I was kind of just shy to myself because that's just kind of the person I was. But then, seeing my dad, talking to my dad and everything, and just observing, how sales and everything was moving based on how I was talking and everything. So really I was just trying everything I could, trial and error until I found something that really stuck for me, like as far as like product and methods, what I did, as far as like social media posts, what markets I did. So I was just paying attention to all that stuff and not letting anything really set me back, or any setback that I did, come past. Or I just took it as a lesson. So I really learned from everything I did.
Did you like, before you started, like, popping up, bro, did you have any background on customer service?
So yeah, a little bit with my dad. So my dad had his own food truck in Houston. So we did like Cajun Cafe. It was New Orleans Cajun Cafe is what his food truck restaurant was called. So I had experience talking with people, taking orders and stuff like that. And then at markets, going out, and I would give like free samples of like crawfish for people to try. So I had some experience in customer service. So.
Did you learn from seeing your dad too?
Yeah, for sure. That was a big influence, definitely, on me getting out to the markets. I don't think if I didn't grow up like seeing that, I don't think I would have been as successful at the markets as I am now. And like, he would always do something to stand out at markets. So like sometimes when I do markets, I like do live screen printing, or I'll sew live, or I'll try to do something to like interact with people who are there to kind of drive them in so they can actually see what I do, you know, and I get to explain to them what I do, because a lot of the time I feel like that's the only thing holding people back. I mean, people don't know who you are, so when they get in, you know, close to you and want to have a conversation, you gotta,
You gotta know
make
how
the
to talk
best
to
out of
them.
it, you know, with everyone, you know, because you never know
Who it is.
who it is. So
I know, and you gained something from that. Like, I think on the last podcast, you were telling me about how you met somebody, bro, that was very important in the industry, bro. And
yeah,
I can't remember his name, but you told me that you treated him like you treated everybody else, bro, and it kind of led to a relationship just based off of how you spoke to him and him seeing your clothes. Who was that again? What was his name?
I forgot his name. Man, but he was the president of Complex Con the year he came to my booth. So I think that was in 2022. We're right across the street. So
Oh, it was here.
yeah, it was right over there at the turf over there. So
Damn.
I was setting up for an event. It's probably the worst event I've been through
Yeah.
the whole year. I was just like, man, I was ready to go the whole time, and then he came in my booth and was just kind of talking about all these high-end streetwear brands and other brands I knew about, but when he was saying it, I didn't think he knew about it. So I was like kind of confused. I was like, what are you talking about? And then he was like, no, this brand. And I was like, oh, yeah, I know who that is. So we ended up chopping it up and everything, and then he wanted a custom piece, so I made him a custom piece, not knowing who he was, you know. So I shipped it out, and then probably 2 weeks after him receiving it, he reached out to me, just letting me know like how he liked everything and how it was perfect. And I kind of just kept, you know, messaging him, letting him know like, hey, if you need anything, I got you. So
Just staying connected with him kept that relationship
kept the
going.
relationship. And then he had sent me a week after that, he sent me an article about a rapper named Yeet at the time. He was like my favorite rapper. He sent me that article and was like, hey, this is pretty cool. You could read it before before it dropped public. Like, all right, cool. So in there it was like talking about like Complex Con or something like that. And I was like, oh, dang, like I want to go to Complex Con so bad. So he ended up sending me and my pops tickets to go to that in Long Beach. So
You guys went.
we ended up going to Long Beach, and it all came just from an event I was about to pack up and leave from. So it was kind of crazy, just the whole experience.
I
Like,
think sometimes people, bro, they don't really know that it's like the little things that really separate your business, bro, that sometimes give you that big step that you needed. You know what I mean? Like, can you imagine if you would have left?
yeah, for
You
real.
know what I'm saying? Can you imagine if you wouldn't have just stayed down, bro, and held it down for a little bit longer? You know what I mean? I know it wasn't like the best situation there, but you got something from it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So I think like from that point on, bro, like when you went out to Complex Con, what did you gain from seeing all those things?
Yeah, so basically I knew that I was like on the right path, basically. Like what I wanted to, like my vision was becoming clearer and clearer kind of every day. Like every week I was getting signs that I wanted to see, you know. Obviously there's things that happened that I didn't want to happen, but for the most part I was like, okay, yeah, this is cool. I need to do this now so I can get here. So it was good for me. It definitely put a spark in me, for real.
Whenever after you got all that motivation, bro, what did you do when you came back?
Yeah, so when I came back, I went straight to the drawing boards, you know, kind of planning what I wanted to do, like my next drop and everything. I didn't have a store at the time either when that happened. I was in the process of seeking out a place to have my first store. So I was scoping it out, still kind of seeing if it was the right idea for me, you know, right move for me. So I was just locking in on that, like still making clothes and then figuring out what direction I wanted to go in.
And do you think the mic kind of moving a little bit?
Yeah.
It kind of sliding. Let's pause real quick. We'll pause real quick and get this set. Sorry, our mic was falling.
We're good. We're good. Back now.
Yeah, we back. We back. Where were we? We were talking about your. Let me see. We're talking about where your where were you?
Dang.
Where were we at, Cole?
I think
You just came
Yeah, I
back from
was just-
Complex Con.
yeah,
You
I
came back
just-
from Complex Con. I asked you where you were doing in Complex Con
and what I learned from it.
What'd you
Yeah.
learn from it? But I said, what did you start doing as soon as you got back?
Yeah.
And you started telling me about how you started thinking about getting a storefront.
Yeah. So that was
What year was that?
2022 going
Okay.
into 2023. So it was like November, December. No,
Mhm.
end of November. No. Early November.
Yeah.
And then kind of Thanksgiving time, I was like, man, I think, the store might be a good idea,
Mhm.
My business like coach was kind of like, hey, like we got a spot for you and
Mhm.
everything, just let me know whenever you want to pull the trigger kind of. So I think July came around and I was just still doing markets and everything, like pop-ups and everything, and I was just like, man, I think it's time.
Mhm.
I think I want to do it. So basically
At that point, bro, were you already did you already save up some capital?
Yeah,
Or you
so
saved
I-
up some money for you to start making that decision?
Yeah, so I was definitely putting some money aside too. And then basically I had this program too. So my business coach, the garage program,
Mhm.
it was basically like an incubator program where they put you in a space for like a year and kind of see how you grow and everything there. And if you do well, then you go to a bigger space, So I don't know if you're familiar with Grow. It's on Market.
Yes.
So they were basically like the very first like successful business out of the program, I'd say. So they started in an incubator space at a little space called the Workroom. But the Workroom's actually across the street from us now, but it was on Cleveland corner, I believe, or something like that. But yeah, that's kind of the foundation that got me.
How did you get in touch with those people?
Yeah, so they actually reached out to me.
Really?
So they let people apply with applications and everything, but it was like my second market out. They're like, "Hey, we saw you at this market and we never seen stuff like this before. Like, let's talk and everything." And I was like, at first I was like, I just left them on red open. I was like, this is weird.
Yeah.
I didn't know if it was like legit or not. So, another 2-3 weeks go by and then they actually come in person at an event and come and talk to me. And I was like, you know what? It's pretty cool. I'll sit down, talk to you guys, see what y'all have in mind. So I talked to them for like a year.
What did you gain from them?
So they actually helped me a lot, like with as far as like business planning, like, every time I had like an idea or something I wanted to do, they basically gave me like a blank sheet with like steps. They're like, all right, what steps would you do to, execute this, and if this happens, how would you get past it? So they're basically building my mind as a entrepreneur, you know what I mean? Problem solving early on. And I kind of already had that like in my mind, like working with my dad and everything on the truck, like just seeing like how quick he was with everything, like when something happened. So, yeah, so that kind of led me to getting my first store with that program,
And where was your first store at?
Revolution.
Oh, yeah, off of Central.
Off of Central, yeah. So that was my first spot, and it was cool there. Like the first few months were like dope. But then I just started looking at like how my business was completely changing, because it was going from just me making clothes to me only doing custom clothes. So I'd have people coming into the store wanting me to make something on the spot right there, and then customers walking in watching me just work and sew in there, because that was my workspace. I was working in there. I was an employee. I had one employee, but other than that, I was in there full time.
It's kind of throwing you off.
Yeah, throwing off my
Creativity.
yeah, just my whole flow and everything. So
Mm-hmm.
I had to really rethink like what was best for me and what what I wanted it to like look like, my brand to look like in the future. So
Mm-hmm.
that's when I made the decision to like hit up the Knockout guys again,
Mm-hmm.
and they were actually dealing with the power situation at Town West.
Mm-hmm.
So we're all kind of like in the same situation, like, hey, we need to get out of the spot we're in, like let's figure something out. So I I'd been in this place probably 6 months prior, and I was like, hey, I got the spot for us, like I know where to go. And then they're like, all right, let's go look at it. So we all came down here, checked it out, and then we're just looking outside from the windows, and I was like, man, y'all gotta trust me. I gotta trust me. And then actually the landlord from my first store actually owns this building too. So like
Yeah.
transferring everything was pretty smooth. But I was like, hey, we need to get in here and see this space. And he's like, okay.
Mm-hmm.
And then we came in here, we all fell in love, and we're like, I already knew like the potential, but
Mm-hmm.
they couldn't see it. The other guys, Cade, Ernie, Mike, CR. So it's like, y'all, this is it.
Mm.
And we came here and we were like, man, let's do it. So I think,
When you guys came to check it out, was NASCAR already set up, like across the street? Was that
yeah,
already done?
yeah. So the park was already done and everything. This is probably like a year, a year and a half into me already doing markets and stuff
Mm-hmm.
with Shop and Grub. So like I already kind of had like a little name. Um, me being at Knockout too, it was just kind of like it was just the downtown scene was growing like
Yes.
perfect, you
Yeah.
know.
Yeah. Yeah.
So that was there already, I believe. What is it? The workroom wasn't there though.
Oh,
The
okay. Okay.
workroom wasn't there, so that just got there. I'd say a few months ago. But
Mm.
when we came down here, it was just us. Like this, it was just food right here.
Mm-hmm.
Basically, just food, coffee, and then this was like a cold press place
Okay.
before. So no clothing was down here except Dead Center Vintage.
Yeah.
So I scoped it out. I was like, hey, we had a competitor too that was actually like, he was downtown too. They were selling shoes downtown, but they're actually on the other side of the bridge.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
we had things like we obviously had to think about before coming here, you know, and we had to make sure like we were able to get over those, you know, lumps and everything.
Mm-hmm.
But
There was a lot to think about before you guys pulled the trigger on this
yeah,
spot.
it was a lot, but we knew like already like, hey, we're gonna do it, you know, no matter what. But we had to keep a lot of, you know, things in the back of our head just because it was such a big move forward, not just for me, but for everybody. We're all throwing all of our eggs in one basket. Like, all right, man, we're gonna do this. So
And at the time, you guys are pretty young. How old were you guys at that time?
yeah, so I was 24, CR was 24, Mike was 24, Cade I think was 22 or 21.
Yeah.
And then Ernie's the oldest. I think he was 26.
26.
Yeah. So.
Okay, so it's a couple of you guys in here.
Yeah.
Yeah. So from when I first came in, I'm like, man, this is a big store, and you guys have employees now, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. And when it pertains to, do you guys have meetings? Do you guys have anything going on like that to keep the business running smooth?
Yeah. So we pretty much were in here like weekly. All the guys, we always see each other, you know, a few times a week. But yeah, we definitely have monthly meetings. And we have a group chat that we're always like messaging like, hey, we need to do this weekend. Like, hey, we should do a Saturday Steals this weekend.
Yeah.
You know, so we're definitely trying. It's not perfect. Definitely something we still need to work on, you know, but we definitely communicate with one another.
That's part of the journey, bro.
Yeah,
Being young
yeah.
entrepreneurs, bro. Like young entrepreneurs, like that's basically what you guys are doing. And when it comes to a business like this, bro, like there's so many things that go into it.
Yeah.
Marketing, employees,
Mhm.
like bills. Outside of that, bro, like schedules, like things like that, bro. There's so many things that go into it that I think a lot of people don't know. But like I feel you guys on it, you know.
Yeah.
And one thing about being an entrepreneur, bro, from like my standpoint, is like you're gonna figure yourself out and who you really are. You know what I mean? Like you really are. Like when I'm sitting here hearing you talk, I'm inside of your guys' store, and sometimes like sometimes I don't think people understand like what position they're really in until like later on down the road. You know what
Yeah.
I mean? Because I'm sure you guys' business is going to continue to grow.
Oh yeah.
And as your guys' business continue to grow, man, like the decisions, the decisions you guys have to make, the things you have to learn, and the things you have to adapt to are gonna like evolve as well, bro. So
Yeah.
slowly but surely, you guys are gonna continue to grow like as young entrepreneurs. Like, so total, there's how many? 4 or 5?
There's 5 of us in total.
5 of
So
you guys?
3 guys, Ernie, Mike, K, they run the shoes.
Yes.
I run all the custom clothes, and then CR does all the vintage.
Vintage.
Yeah.
And he was the one I just met a second
Yeah,
ago.
he was the one
You
you
know,
just
he's
met.
super cool, bro.
Yeah, he is super cool dude.
Super
so,
cool dude. Like he was like very welcoming, very
Yeah.
like, bro, like it blows me away sometimes with like, you know, there's some older folks in business that kind of talk about like younger guys don't know this, don't know that,
Mhm.
or like don't know how to carry themselves or run a business or whatever. But like, bro, I don't think that's necessarily true. I agree with them on some point, but like, how old was that guy I just met?
25.
25. You know,
Yeah.
he's like he's 25. He's older, but like, bro, like you can tell he has some experience in sales and
Yeah.
customer service. Like, I was like, man, he made me feel welcomed
Yeah.
and warm. You know, is that like one of the things you guys try to do in here?
Yeah, definitely. When me and CR are in here, we're definitely trying to make you feel comfortable, welcome. Just because we know it's a huge story. Some people they get overwhelmed and they just come in here and like, or when it's busy. But no, we always try to make everyone feel comfortable at home. Like we want everyone to like browse as long as you want. There's no rush. I
Yeah.
feel like a lot of people, whenever the store's kind of busy, tend to like rush a little bit. So we always kind of go like have an employee go up to someone, make sure they're looking for something. If it's particular, we're like, hey, what do you need? What do you need help with? We're here for you.
Yeah.
So
Even if they need some help with their style.
even if they need some help with their style, so whatever, you could come in here
Yeah.
and we'll get you right.
Yeah, for sure.
From head to toe. So all of us, even if me and CR aren't here, the shoe guys will point you in the right directions with the clothes and the vintage.
Yeah.
If the shoe guys aren't here, we're gonna help you with the shoes. So
Yeah.
we all kind of know each other's, playing ground.
Like niche.
Yeah.
Niche. Whenever, so like I know that outside of the clothing, outside of you making the clothes and everything, I know you did a couple of fashion shows.
Yeah.
Was that just you completely, or did any of these guys have anything to do with it?
Yeah, so the fashion shows are all me. So
Yeah.
they didn't. That's just all me. So
Yeah.
anything outside of the store, pretty much that I do is just
Yeah, just you.
it's just me.
Yeah, so whenever you did that show, bro, I remember the first one was crazy.
Yeah.
That was like the craziest one in town. I haven't seen anybody else do that, whether it's like any entrepreneurs, bro. It's hard to put on something like that.
Yeah.
It really is, bro. It really is, especially to have it to that magnitude, and for you not to be here, for you not to be from here, and to get that type of crowd. What do you think that was? I think I know what it was, but what do you think it was for you to gain that type of crowd there?
I don't. It was crazy.
Do you think it was the networking, or what do you think it was?
I think it was the suspense.
The suspense.
I
Yep.
feel like it's never happened. Well, I wouldn't say it never happened.
Not like that,
There's
bro.
fashion shows, but
I like that.
it was definitely something that was different, super different,
Yeah.
and I just like I was telling you on the last part, like the whole time I knew, like I just knew. So
You knew it was gonna be a hit.
I knew I don't know why, I just had that feeling of like that gut feeling, like I just need to do the show. Like
Yeah.
I just need to do it. I need to do it. And so much like was happening, like the date kept getting pushed around. It was supposed to happen in January, then it was supposed to happen in February. Then it had to happen in March because they weren't finished building everything at the National. So I was like,
Yeah.
I'm doing it here no matter what. So whenever y'all are done with everything, just let me know. Give me a date.
Yeah.
So they gave me the date and I went all in. I was
Yeah.
like, all right. And they were kind of questioning it a little bit.
Yeah.
They're like hesitant on my vision just because they couldn't see it, you know?
Yeah.
No one really saw the vision I had, you know, but
I mean, it's hard, bro. It's hard to
it's
picture
hard.
something like that.
Yeah, it
You know,
is.
did you picture it just like that or no?
So I didn't picture it
Like that packed?
as that packed. You know, I told you I thought only like 100 people were 150, you know?
Yeah.
But I knew it was gonna be like a good turnout, you know? Like even if it was just 100 people, I knew it was gonna be like, damn, if you didn't go, you missed out. But
Yeah.
the day of the show was like I already had like 180 tickets sold. I was like, damn, like this is already more than what I thought.
Yeah.
And then I closed ticket sales online, and then at the door, people were just flooding in.
Yeah.
And then I didn't think I would reach capacity of the venue. So the guy who actually designed the space and everything, he was like, "Hey, we're at capacity. You gotta stop letting people in." So that at that point, I was like, "Damn, like
This is crazy.
this is crazy." Like I was still walking around too, you know, greeting everyone who came in, passing out programs. Just trying to make my face familiar with everyone who was there and just trying to see everyone who was out there too. I was
Yeah.
like, man, I don't even know, you know, most of these people out here. I only knew like my models, you know, people who I really had helping. But yeah, it was
Man, bro, like I truly believe that that whole thing was crazy because of the marketing.
mhm,
You know, there was a lot of marketing going on behind that, bro, and you were doing your job to definitely market the what you were gonna do
mhm.
and reach out to the right people and have the right models.
Yeah, yeah,
You know
yeah.
what I mean? Because a lot of the models that you brought on, I think brought you a lot of crowd too.
Yeah, yeah,
You know what
yeah.
I'm saying?
That's so that was definitely I wouldn't say a challenge, but I did shows in the past and kind of seen like why I didn't say why the outcome wasn't how it was supposed to be, but I saw some things that would change the outcome, you know, that I
Yeah.
would have changed that would have made the outcome of their shows, you know, way better, you know.
Mhm.
Especially since it being more designers, you know, it wasn't just me and those other shows, it was, you know, some decent people too, you know, who had at the time their name was bigger than mine. They were like uh doing designs for other people outside of the city, like Kansas City and stuff. That
Mhm.
it was pretty cool.
Where was that at?
So it was ICT fashion tours, but they didn't have a specific location. But the biggest one I did with them was at Temple Live, and it was about almost 200 people there, I say,
Mhm.
in the crowd. But
And at the
yeah,
one you did, how many people were
I
there?
think I had 250, and then I
250?
had like 20 people outside watching it.
Yeah,
So
that's crazy.
yeah, it was crazy. But with the models and everything, yeah, I definitely I strategized there to make sure like because obviously you're gonna want to see people who you look up to on the runway. You're not just
Okay,
want to
so you
see
actually
no.
put a lot more thought into this one and was trying to
Yeah,
be like, man, if I bring this person,
yeah,
it's gonna bring this many people, or
yeah,
about this many people, this many friends.
yeah. So really, everyone I was DMing, um, either I followed them or they followed me and they seen my work before. So like I was just really just I was like, hey, the worst they could say is no,
Yeah,
you know.
yeah,
But everyone I was kind of reaching out to, they're like, man, that sounds dope. Like, let me do it. And I was, man, I was getting like, everyone was just yes, yes, yes. So I was like, all right, I know I'm doing something right here. Like
yeah,
all the models who I thought was gonna say no, they're all like on board. They're all like excited. Like Sammy, Jathan, Katie, Devontae, you know, which kid.
yeah.
So I had
Bro, I forgot, man.
yeah.
I forgot your lineup, bro. You had everybody
Yeah, I
there.
had everyone from like, you know, local.
Did you write their names down, or were you just scrolling
Yeah,
through?
no. So man, I wish I would have brought the paper, man. I just had it today too,
Yeah,
but I had a list of probably like 30 to 40 people. I was like, all right, these are people in the city who got motion, like whose names are, but they all were like different categories, you know, like this person was like music, this person was like hair, this person did clothes, this person was football, this person had influence, you know, this. So I tried to find people who, you know, naturally had a crowd already, you know, had like their own group of people following them.
Yeah.
So that definitely made the outcome, you know, way better because all of them had their people coming out to go see them, and then I had my people coming out to see me, and then it was just like it just trickled down like every model. So I was like, in my head, I'm like, all right, this model is gonna bring like 5 people. This model will bring like 10 people. This model will bring like 5 people. You know, so I was kind of like writing it down by their side of their name, how many people I think they could potentially bring out. You know, it's like, all right, you got your mom, your dad, family, maybe, you know, and then 2 people, your best friends. This person, you know, which kid, you know, Devontae, you know, he played in the NFL. He don't be in Wichita that often, so if he come out here, you know, he may be able to bring 15, 20 people. So I was just doing that for kind of each model. And then my performances, you know, I had Frank. He's a pretty well-known artist here in Wichita. Get some decent numbers on Spotify and everything. He did a show in the past I did, a collab show. I was like, hey, bro, I need you to do music again. And he was up for it. So his crowd came out to watch him. So it was just like the marketing you said. I definitely had a plan for that.
You were strategic.
Yeah.
You were strategic, and it showed. It showed because like things like that wasn't no coincidence, bro. You were prepared.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And I think all of us kind of learn throughout life, like in business, the more prepared we are, the more confident we go in, and the more successful it is. Because I think confidence is key. Anytime we lack confidence, bro, it'll show in whatever work we're doing. You know what I mean?
No, that's true.
That's true, bro.
That's
like,
true.
If you weren't confident in the clothes you made, bro, they wouldn't look the way they look. You know what I mean? Like, so I think confidence is one of the biggest things. Do you think that now that you have this, like you put on 2 fashion shows, bro, you have a storefront, and now you make your clothes, bro, like at the point in your career where you're at now, bro, what have you learned about yourself through all this?
Yeah, really that shoot, I could do anything I really want, you know, if I just really put my mind to it and lock in. Everything everything I've done so far, I questioned, you know. I definitely didn't think I would be able to do it, but I had second guesses, you know.
Do you feel like you have to fight off them negative thoughts often?
Yeah. Not as much now. I still have them, but now I'm just like, man, I already done this in the past. I might as well just, you know.
Yeah.
But back then, like I say, like a year ago, man, it was constantly, you know, weekly.
What was coming through your head, bro?
Like sometimes when like sales were like low, I was like, man, like, is this what I'm supposed to be doing? You know, I'd be like, I know I did all this stuff for these people, this, but like, I feel like that's just, it's supposed to be more, you know, there's more I'm supposed to be doing. So I was just thinking like, what else I could do? What am I not doing that's not right, you know?
Yeah.
Like just kind of.
Do you, like, sometimes with me, bro, like, because I have both shops, you know, I've had those since I was 23. And one thing that has happened to me, bro, and I don't know if it's happened to you, but do you ever feel pressure to perform?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, I've accomplished this, but like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
You ever feel that?
Yeah. But it's like, what's next? You know?
What's next? You know, or even when you know what's next, do you ever feel like, man, can I do it?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, cause sometimes like I've learned through experience, bro. Like, and I read a book about it. It's kind of like imposter syndrome. I don't know if you ever heard of that. Have you heard of that?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like sometimes like when you've done certain things in your career, like you've, for example, me, like I'll open up one shop, I'll open up the second shop. I helped Tiffany open up the coffee shop. you know. And every single time before I did one of those leaps, before I started one of those projects, um, there's this thought that comes to my head like, can you really do it? You know what
Yeah.
I'm saying? Like, am I really like what I think I'm like?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, and there's some people, bro, that'll fall for those negative thoughts and start second
Yeah.
guessing who they are, and next thing you know, they're moving in a different direction.
Mm-hmm.
You know, because they didn't stick to their guns and in truly what they believe.
Yeah.
You get what I'm saying? Like a second ago, you were saying like, I believed so wholeheartedly in what I was doing that it became a success, that it actually happened.
Mm-hmm.
You know, some people think it's to me, I feel like some people think like when I tell people advice, like, you really truly got to believe in what you're doing, brother. Like,
Yeah.
or whoever it is, I really tell them all the time. And I feel like sometimes it sounds like cliche. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? It does sound
Like the
cliche.
same thing over and over.
Yeah, bro.
Yeah.
Like, man, everybody says that, you know? And I'm like, bro, it's the truth.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not sitting here telling you not to, I'm telling you to believe and that it's going to be hard and that it's not going to be easy and that there's going to be those negative thoughts that are going to come into your head all the time and really try to slow you down. If anything, try to divert you from what you're the direction you're really trying to head in.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That's happened to me multiple times. You know what I mean? And do you feel like now that you're in the point in your career, like this next step that you have,
Yeah.
I'm sure it's not like no easy step.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
not it's not something that anybody can just do because
Yeah,
that's the
yeah.
point. The point is to do shit that only you can do.
Yeah. Yeah.
You
Yeah.
get what I'm saying? Like, do you feel like you really have to work on yourself mentally, bro, for you to start trying to make those decisions?
Yeah. Yeah. For sure. Man, this January, like this year, is like that's when my mindset kind of really shifted like a lot. I had all these like big thoughts, and I always like shrank them down. You
Mm,
know, like to like half the thought, like half of the goal that I wanted to accomplish. I like shrink it down. I'm like, all right, this is way more doable than that. But in
yeah.
reality, that was doable. I was just not really. I was like you were saying. I was like having those thoughts. I was like, man, like I can't do this. Let me just do this instead.
Yes.
So it was just a lot of that at first, and then once I was like, nah, I just need to do what I actually want to do.
Yeah.
That's when everything was like boom, 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 boom. Like just started
Started happening.
taking off. Like things started like lining up. Everything was getting clearer and clearer for real. And after that show, I was like, if I do this right, like that's all I really need. I just need this to go right so I could, know that I'm capable of doing whatever I really want. I know like even with the sweatpants, like, and everything, my bulk order I'm doing. I never did a bulk order with the manufacturer just because I mean, I made everything hands on in house. So now it's like it's getting too much for me to, like y'all are keeping me busy. So
Mm,
I gotta start outsourcing some things like, you know, to keep the store stocked, online stocked. I want my online store to get jumping now. So like that's next for me because I got people in who are like my first customers,
mhm.
like New York, everything when I was selling stuff on Depop, they're all hitting me up on Instagram like, hey, I need some stuff now. I mean, like, all right, I got the online store I'm working on for y'all. So trying to expand and stay true to like my roots, stay tapped into like my brand. I don't want to create something that's just like the ordinary logo on a t-shirt. No, I want to make something that's still like cool,
Mhm.
but you could obviously tell some thought was like put into it,
Yeah.
So I want like unique designs, so everyone could have it, not just one person,
Mhm.
but I'll still do my one-on-ones, of course, but just kind of switching the way I display my clothing now.
Mm,
Now it's like I do one of ones. Everyone knew me for like making one of one clothing, but I want to be known for just making fire clothing. Like
mm.
whether it's one of ones or mass produced,
Mass
I just
produced.
want I just want to be known as a fire ass like designer. You
Yeah,
know,
facts.
whatever I make, I want people to, dang, I need that. I need that.
You're on the way, bro. So right now that everything you just told me, the first thing that's coming to my mind is like, how important is it for you right now to learn?
Yeah. I
To like honestly kind of go out there, bro, and really try to learn, bro.
yeah.
Like, cause right now what you need to do is what you need is more knowledge
Yeah.
when it
Yeah.
pertains to like the distribution,
Mhm.
when it pertains to mass production,
Yeah.
when it pertains to like how can I really scale?
Yeah.
You get what I'm saying? Because that's what you're trying to do is
Mhm.
scale. So are you trying to learn? Are you I know you're trying to learn, but what I'm saying is there certain things that you're doing to try to learn?
Yeah. Yeah. So I'm definitely tapping into like local brands, you know, like Buckets. You know,
Mm-hmm.
he's Eric.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I had a couple conversations with him, and I did a market with him at the Asian Fest. He had
Yes.
invited me out to do that with him, so I was like, you know, this is a great opportunity. You know, pick his head. You know,
Mm-hmm.
because that's what his clothing brand is more on that manufactured in. You know,
Yeah.
and mass produced. So it was cool because we're both trying to learn from each other. You know, there was like things that he wanted to see like I did at markets, and then things I saw like him display like his content, like certain things I was like, man, that's cool too. So really observing like all the other brands and what they do to kind of make their well, the brands that are like wholesale, not wholesale, but like mass produced, you
Mass
know,
produce.
mass produced brands. So like your Nike, um, even like other smaller brands, you know. So Out the Way Studios, I work with them a lot. He's a stylist for a lot of NFL and NBA players, but he has his own clothing brand. So I try to look at like how he structured it too and see like how his followers engage with his stuff that he posts and everything. So I try to make my own right now I'm trying to make my own like content like ideas. I'm coming up with
Mm.
ideas right now
Mm-hmm.
on how to market the drop when it comes out. So it's not the same as all these other brands, but you know, like the point that's gonna get across, like,
Yeah.
hey, you know.
Yeah.
So
And that kind of leads into my next question. Um, are you the type of person who y- do you get inspired or do you get creative around other people, or do you need to be by yourself?
yeah, so with me, it's both.
Yeah.
It's like honestly, I'm so like ADHD.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like I could be playing basketball and something come in the middle of my head. You know,
Mm-hmm.
I could be watching TV or any like random task and then boom. Or I could just um sit down and like think of something, you know, and I'm like when I sit down and overthink, that's when I'm like, no, I can't even come up with nothing. So most of the time when an idea comes to my head, I'm doing something that's not even clothing related.
Mm-hmm.
I could be outside. Like I think for my fashion show, like my idea came from I was actually playing the game,
Mm.
and my friend had said something about the old Call of Duty Black Ops, right? And that was like my favorite game. I was like, man, Nuketown was like my favorite.
Mm.
So actually, the design from this shirt and that right there actually came from Black Ops, like the game. I was like on the game talking to the
Mm.
homies. I was like, all right, like the sign in front of the house, like I just need a sign, like basically saying like, I don't know. I just wanted that grungy vibe
Mm-hmm.
with like a sign, you know, displaying like showing like kind of what the brand was like about
Yeah.
without telling the story. So I try to do that to like keep it like suspenseful at first. So that was like
Mm.
my first like revamp of my logo, and that's when I dropped at the fashion show, and I kept it kind of simple too. Like I had some heavy hitters in there,
Mm-hmm.
you know, but it was pretty much just
Yeah.
trying to get it out there.
Get it out there.
Yeah.
I think I think creativity, bro, is so it's such a It's such a key
Yeah.
to where we're heading, not only with clothing, bro, but like with barbering, with business, with everything.
Hmm.
Like everything has evolved.
It's changed. Yeah.
If you think about it, look at Supreme.
Hmm.
How they were at the beginning and where they're
Yeah.
at now. Like that's one of the craziest brands in the world, bro.
Yeah.
Supreme is
For real.
crazy.
For real.
It's you slap that on anything, bro, is immediately the value just went up.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I think it's crazy because the opportunity is there. We just have to learn how to really brand ourselves.
Hmm.
You know what I mean? Like, what is our brand? How
Yeah.
does it look? What does it surround itself by? Who should it be catering to? You know
Hmm.
what I mean? Like, there's so many questions that go behind it, and there's so many things that are super duper important when it pertains to like how we're gonna grow YBG. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
or me in prime time.
Yeah.
I think about it all the time.
Yeah. It's
And
like daily thoughts. For real.
daily thoughts, bro. I literally shoot up out of bed. I work out hella early in the morning. Um, it's super hard for me to get up in the morning. People think it's easy. I work out at 5:30, and some people think it's easy, bro. But it's really hard.
Yeah. I already knowing.
You know what I'm saying? Like
Yeah.
it's really hard to get up that because I have a crazy schedule. I have 3 kids. You know, and a lot of times I go to sleep late, and a lot of times like I have to work on things from the shops. Something might be messing up, or I might have an issue with one of my barbers not doing what they're supposed to be doing, or uh, one of my kids doing something. There's so many things that pop up,
Hmm.
on a daily basis. But I still have to find a way for me to be creative.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, there's no excuses, bro. I say
Yeah.
that to everybody. Anybody who knows me, bro, one of my biggest phrases is no excuses.
Hmm.
I hate excuses. I've never made any throughout my career. If anything, I take it on the chin and I just keep moving if I mess up. You know what I mean? Um, One of the things that I was gonna say was my creativity comes in the morning. It's weird.
Yeah.
It's in the morning, like when I'm exhausted, when I'm tired. That's why like I push myself to get up early because I know for a fact, bro, if I don't wake up and go to the gym and exhaust myself and get tired and um take my little caffeine, like bro, my I feel like my brain's just gonna be like not no juice. You
Hmm.
know what I'm saying? Like I need that,
Yeah.
especially throughout the daily tasks that I have to do.
Yeah.
And leading into my next question, one thing that I was gonna ask you is something that I had to deal with, or not deal with, but something that I learned was very important was criticism.
Hmm.
Uh, Have you ever had taken or heard any criticism about your clothing, your brand, or anything like that? And
Yes.
how did you take it?
Yeah. So honestly, like even now, sometimes still, like I would make stuff I wouldn't even wear.
Mm,
When I say that, people are like, "What? Like you're supposed to make stuff like you want, so that people could buy what you want because that's why they're following you." But I was like, "No, they just gonna buy whatever I make because it's the message that I'm giving
mm,
out. That's the brand. Like the brand is whatever you portray it as. You gotta, it's whatever you want it to be and how you display it. So I was just making stuff. I didn't care if it looked good or bad. I put it out. Most of the time, it was the worst pieces. People were like, "Man, this is fire. This is fire." But I didn't really care. Like I just like okay. I kind of just listened. All right, this person likes this person likes that. So I would have like this like tally up in the back of my head. Like, all right, people don't like these things. People like these things. If I switch these things up a little bit, maybe people might like it.
mm,
Might want it more, like it a little more than they did before. So
mhm,
I was I was just taking it. I wouldn't really get down about it.
mhm.
I'm everybody got their haters, you know what I
Yeah,
mean?
yeah,
So
facts.
if you let your haters get to you, then I don't know. If you
Does it?
have haters too,
No, yeah,
then
yeah.
it's a good thing.
Does it
So
criticism fuel you at all? Does it, or not fuel you, but like,
I say yeah. At times though, yeah. Depending like what it is, I'm like, all right, yeah, I'm about to turn up on you, show you what I really could do. But for the most part, I mean, I don't. I mean, I'm in the clothing industry, so
Yeah.
it's
You have to be able to take that, bro, with a
yeah,
grain of salt.
yeah,
And at the same time, you gotta understand your market.
yeah,
This shit ain't gonna be for
yeah,
everybody.
yeah.
You know what
So
I'm
it's
saying?
like there's. I always tell people like, if people say your clothes are like ugly or something like that, there's always a brand with worse stuff than you, probably selling more than you. So
Yeah, for sure.
you don't even gotta worry about that. It's
Hmm.
just making your brand get out there.
Yeah.
So
And one thing about criticism that I was gonna say was like, to me, man, it's sometimes some people will say something to you like criticize your stuff, but one thing that I've learned about it is like, bro, listen to it, and if it's right, it's right, and if you have to change it, you have to change it.
hmm
You get what I'm saying? Like, or if it's something that you can improve on, improve it. You know what I
hmm
mean? Like, I would never say anything back.
me neither.
I
Yeah.
would never say anything back, bro. If anything, it would get under my skin a little bit. I get a little upset, but like, I would really have to think about it and be like,
hmm
do them motherfuckers have a point? You
Yeah.
know what
Like
I'm
why?
saying?
Why did they say that?
Yeah, why do they say that? Do
Yeah.
they really have a fucking point? You know
hmm
what I'm saying? Like, and if they do, then okay, I need to change, or I need to, fix this, fix that, and but that, to me, that's been such a, it's such, it changed my career because there's two things I could have did with that criticism, bro. I could have been upset, and it could have
Yeah.
derailed me, from the track I was on,
hmm
so I was like, I'm not gonna listen to it. I mean, I'm gonna take it with a grain of salt. If they're speaking facts, they're speaking facts. But if I have to change something, I will. But man, I never let it derail me. Especially like you said, haters, bro.
Yeah.
That's normal. You
Yeah.
know, if you and the more successful you become, the more there's gonna be.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And bro, like to this day, I hate saying haters and I hate saying I've never acknowledged them.
hmm
Not once, bro. Like not once. Like they've been there my whole life, and I've never acknowledged them.
hmm
Like they've to this day. You know what I mean? They don't drive me. Like they're there and I hear them, but that's not what drives me. You know what
Yeah.
I'm saying? Like that's not what drives me, bro. Some people are driven by their haters, which is fine. If that's your fuel, that's your fuel.
Yeah.
But for me, that's not what drives me, bro. What drives me has always been kind of, and you might agree with this, bro. What drives me is looking into the future and seeing like, man, in 10 years, 20 years, bro, that like I picture what Nelson looks like.
Yeah. The growth.
The growth, bro. What he
Yeah.
looks like, what he has, how he acts, who he's around, everything, bro. That's what drives me. You know
hmm
what I'm saying? Because I want to become that. I want to become that.
Yeah.
And in order for me to stay on that route, bro, I really have to control my emotions and feelings and everything, and really listen to myself and understand and who I am and what direction I want to go in, and who do I want to bring with me? Who do I need to step away from? You know what I mean? And that's one of the questions I had for you too. As you started growing, bro, it's natural. It's natural. Separation is natural.
Yeah.
Some people don't like that,
Yeah.
but it's natural, bro. Like growing, like what things that you've been learning, the obstacles you faced, and where you're at now in your career, and where you want to be at. How do you feel? Has separation happened between you and people you know,
Man.
or
Yeah.
it
Yeah.
has?
It's tons. So honestly, this was supposed to be me and my best friend from high school. This was supposed to be our thing,
Okay.
clothing.
Yeah.
So we're we had our first brand. It was called Loot Boys.
Mm.
So, basketball, we had our logo and everything, did our first drop. And right when t-shirts started selling, bro was like, "Where's my money? Where's my money?" And I'm like, "Bro, we just said we was about to put everything back in." He was like,
Mm-hmm.
"Nah, I need it, bro. I need it." I was like, so it's just, you know, bumped heads, and then we were like, all right, whatever. So ended up separating, splitting it up, lost the whole friendship, over clothing and other stuff. Like
Yeah.
it was pointless.
Mm-hmm.
But definitely it's it happens a lot, throughout the process, I don't think anyone who I know personally had a smooth transition to where they haven't separated with someone throughout their process, you know?
Mm-hmm.
So like my dad, I watched him lose his best friend, he was in the army with Navy SEALs with over, something similar. I lost my best friend over with,
Mm-hmm.
but it's it definitely helps you open your eyes to see like who's really there, to support you, like who's really there to build with you or just, kind of just be there,
And be there.
cordial, the I don't want to say snake, but like the snake, you know what I
Mm-hmm.
mean? Like the
Mm-hmm.
person who you
Mm-hmm.
mama always told you to watch out for,
Yeah.
So
Yeah. And bro, and as you continue to grow, bro, as you continue to grow, one thing that's gonna be very important for you is, and this comes through learning who you are, and like I said, who you want to become, because there's gonna be a lot of friendships and relationships that you're gonna run across in your
hmm
in as the years go on. You're only how 24,
25.
25, bro. You're gonna run through a lot.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And there's gonna be some people that you're gonna meet that are hella cool, but they might be there for a while, they might not, but one thing that separation does for you, and that did for me, is you become like a lone wolf, bro. You know what I mean? Like,
hmm
and you have to be okay with that. You have to be okay with that. You're gonna have the people that are gonna stalk your circle. You're gonna have your people that that you're gonna rely on and you're gonna talk to all the time, bro. Those are your people,
hmm
and you want that. Those are your relationships you want. But what I'm talking about, the lone wolf part, I'm talking about the person who puts the work in when nobody else is looking around and is bringing something to the team.
hmm
That's the lone wolf I'm talking about. A wolf pack. It has a lot of people, but you don't want to be the wolf bringing nothing to the table. You know what I mean? You want to be the wolf that's bringing the most to the table.
hmm
You know what I mean? And if you outgrow your wolf pack, you outgrow your wolf pack, and you move on to the next. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And we have to continue to. I I tell people not to take it. I mean, I don't take it personal because it's happened to me. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, it's happened to me. So it's like, how can I continue to maneuver my way into my wolf pack, into the things that I need to do? You know what I
Mm.
mean? So separation is necessary.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's necessary. And you'll be surprised, bro, if you stay on the right track. You'll be surprised who you surround yourself with and the people you meet.
hmm
I have. I've got some good mentors, bro. I've got some good people in my corner, who I can call and talk to whenever I need that advice.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But I would have never have met them, bro, if I wasn't okay with separation. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, I
Yeah.
would have never have met them, bro. Like, we wouldn't have been in the same area.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Is there some people that you speak to, like, that you would call mentor, people that you can rely on for advice?
Yeah. Yeah. So Mike, he's actually the owner of my spot right now.
Hmm.
Yeah, he is definitely one of those people. There's a handful, probably two or
Why do
three
you feel
people.
comfortable talking to him?
Just because like the whole one, he's like you said, gone through that separation. He had a business partner with him when he started all this. When he was building his portfolio, it wasn't just him; it was him and somebody else. Um, and things happened with them, and he kept going. Basically, just told me a lot. Taught me a lot. Um, and I basically like with listening to like the things he said, I just knew like he saw like my vision already. Like he believed in me before I really believed in myself,
Mm,
So it was it was just cool like having someone like genuinely like
be there for you.
be there. I'm not even from out here, I have so many people just want to see me win. And it's crazy just because in Texas, like Houston, where I'm from, like you gotta you gotta watch behind you,
It's crazy, bro, because I think from like me, I'm from Wichita. When you think bigger city, you think more support.
Yeah. And it's not like
It's
that.
not
Like
like that.
like you think a lot of people think, all right, Houston, a lot of people, yeah, but you gotta think all those people, they're cool with all these other, it's not. It's like if I was to do my brand out there, it would be successful just because I was known. Like I knew people out there, I was known, but it wouldn't have been what I wanted it to. Like
Mm,
out there would have been something I didn't even want. The crowd I didn't even want or need.
mm,
This is something I wanted to create organically. With people I actually wanted representing my brand. Because if I was out there, I probably would have had rappers, wearing my stuff in music videos, showing guns, drugs.
mm.
It was just a scene like I wanted to kind of get away from.
Yeah.
I was a part, like I was Houston, you know what I mean? I had some, I was known in high school a little bit, I played sports. I did some parties for like, I hosted some parties for like rappers and stuff out there. So I wasn't like crazy in the city, like, oh, everybody, but like, as far as like in my school, I was well known. So
Hmm.
it was, it's pretty weird.
Yeah, that's
It's,
crazy.
it's, I feel like for people who are wanting to make the big city like transition, it's definitely something you should do. Like moving to a big city, yeah, like it's lit, but like really think about the like the city vibe, like the city isn't like for everyone. Like you can go to the city and bad habits occur like quick. Like if you're really not disciplined and you make a transition like that, it's really easy to get off track. So that's why I like Wichita. There's not a lot out here to get me off track. I have no one out here to be like, hey bro, we need to go out this night.
There's not that many distractions.
No, it's just me. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? I don't have people blowing up my phone, my homeboys. Mark, what party going on this weekend? Mark, let's go to the club.
Would you say it's a kind of a fast life out there in those big cities?
It is,
You grow up fast?
it you do, you grow up fast. You get caught up in some things you shouldn't get caught up in.
Hmm.
Um, it's easy to, just because like now the youngins out like in big cities are crazy. Like young kids are
I mean, it's crazy
wild
everywhere.
nowadays,
For real.
So
Hmm.
it's just getting more.
Growing up, bro, you were never around that crowd?
So I was always around that crowd. So that's the thing. Like I was born in New Orleans,
Hmm.
so I didn't really grow up in the best neighborhoods, So in New Orleans, I grew up in a pretty, you know, uh, violent neighborhood, same as in Houston when I first moved to Houston from the hurricane. I lived in Greenspoint. It
Hmm.
was like number one murder capital in Houston. They call it Guns Point because like when I was living out there, like a couple people were dying every day, gunshots, every
Damn.
night. So it was it was definitely, I wouldn't say I had the worst upbringing, but it wasn't like the prettiest. I
Hmm.
definitely seen some crazy things, heard some crazy things. But yeah, it definitely transformed, to who I am now.
Do you feel fortunate to have landed in a place like Wichita?
Yeah, yeah,
Now looking back at it?
yeah, yeah, for sure. I always like everyone asks me like, "Oh, what would you be doing if you're still out there?" I was like, "I'd probably be in jail or something."
Mm, yeah.
Honestly,
Yeah.
like half of my homeboys got locked up for little things, but I probably would have been with them in those situations, if I was
Hmm.
out there. So I'm definitely thankful for how everything played out for me and
No mistakes.
no mistakes. Yeah.
There was
So
no mistakes. Everything kind of happened for a reason.
yeah.
Do you feel like one of the questions that I had written down, bro, that I feel like, because I asked you a second ago, well, what I'm about to ask you is like, what do you think? Some people use pain as fuel,
Mhm.
and some people use like the dream as fuel.
Mhm.
What do you think you use?
I think honestly a little bit of both,
Yeah.
cuz when I had that pain, I was dreaming, You know, I had
Mm.
those dreams I wanted. So without that pain, I guess I wouldn't really have those dreams,
Mm-hmm.
or goals. Cause if I was brought up, perfect, I probably wouldn't even have no goals I wanted,
Mm-hmm.
I'd probably just be doing whatever
Mm-hmm.
just because I was brought up a certain way.
Yeah.
But since I kind of lived, my lifestyle and grew up how I did, I definitely use all my emotions, to get me where I want to go.
Mm-hmm.
Um, just because I feel like it was like you could want something, but like to be great at something, like to be the best, you gotta have like you had to be in the trench. Like
You had to go
you
through
had
it.
to go through something, You can't
Mm-hmm.
just I'm gonna be the best at this if you
Mm-hmm.
ain't go through
Man,
nothing.
bro, you
It's
gotta have that grit. You
yeah,
really gotta be, man.
you have to have felt something for sure.
No, for sure. And I'm
So
glad that was a good answer, bro, because you really truly have to be, you know, uh, relentless. Me and Ivan talked about it on the podcast when I had him on. He read this book called Relentless. Have you ever read it?
nah.
You should. You should. I think you would relate to it a lot because the guy who wrote the book was the trainer of Kobe and Michael Jordan.
Mm,
And the book is he just speaks about how he knew both of them and how they impacted his life and what he thought about both of them and how they were both very different. You know what I mean? And that book, bro, showed me how hard things are and how like it's never gonna be easy.
mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? And we can't expect it to be easy. If anything, we gotta expect ourselves to really adapt. If we
Yeah.
really want to be that great, to really figure out like who we are, bro. You have to go through it.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Looking back at it, bro, what's one thing, bro? What's one thing when you look back at that was painful to you that you are thankful for now because now it evolved you into who you are now?
Yeah. Man, I'd say honestly the transition from moving from New Orleans to Houston. Like I was young. I was like 5, 6 at the time, but I remember like everything. That was like a crazy experience. I went from having a home, to having nothing.
Mm,
I didn't have a place to sleep,
mm,
for months. We were just staying with family, like, and it was probably like 8 people staying in a 1 bedroom apartment.
mm-hmm.
So it was pretty crazy, um, like just transitioning, and then while like the transitioning, so much was going on. Like I remember just moved into our apartment. My mom found us a spot in Houston, got us our place. I'm starting school, and like first week I get jumped on the bus
What?
by like 4 kids, and I'm like hard headed. Like at young age I was like had a pretty bad temper. I was fighting everyone, but that time I was just so hurt. I just didn't feel like fighting nobody. I was like, normally like the pain would like fuel me,
Mm-hmm.
but I was just like already so bummed out of everything. I had lost my home, my dogs, my clothes, my toys, and everything.
Mm-hmm.
So it was just crazy.
Damn.
Like at that age, I was experiencing a lot,
Yeah.
So that was kind of what just made my mind like from there. I was just like,
I feel like at that age you probably broke. You know
yeah,
what I'm saying? I've noticed that. I mean, from my experience, from being around kids who've had grown like hard upbringings,
hmm,
they mature a lot younger than a
yeah,
lot of other people because they broke at a young age.
yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Do you feel like that's might have what happened to you?
Yeah, definitely for me and my younger brother for sure.
Yeah.
Um, definitely, uh, we had to mature early,
You didn't have
just
a
because
choice.
we didn't have a choice. Growing up in a
Hmm.
single parent home, it was we had to do a lot of things on our own,
Hmm.
So
Man,
yeah,
I grew up in a single parent home too.
yeah,
You know what I'm saying? And I know exactly what you're talking
yeah,
about.
yeah, yeah,
And I was the oldest. Are you the
yeah,
oldest?
yeah. I'm the oldest.
Yeah, bro.
Yeah, I
I
got
was the
2 younger
oldest.
brothers.
Yeah, bro. Same thing. Two younger brothers.
Yeah,
You know what I mean? And um, looking back at it, bro, it was tough. It was tough seeing my mom in that position, and it was tough me kind of, and I'm sure you would understand this, is like growing up, and my mom had to work a lot, you know, so she wasn't able to make it to a lot of the practices or the games and stuff. I kind of had to figure out my way to get there.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes I had to either ride a bike to my soccer practices or get a ride from one of the homies. You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
yeah.
And man, but looking back at it, kind of like you, like hearing you out, bro, is just like it brought back memories for me, you know, and I'm kind of glad it happened because it really made me, sure as you, as it humbled me and it made me very thankful and grateful for when I did have stuff.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? And it's something that I can still in my kids. Like, bro, you lucky.
Yeah.
You get what I'm saying? Like, you don't
Yeah.
have kids yet, bro, but one day you will, bro. And it's gonna be a point where you can be like, man, you lucky, bro, because I went through this.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? And I had this going on in my life, and I had to see your grandma do this and work this 2 jobs and really struggle to pay bills and get us ahead. You know what I
Mm-hmm.
mean? But that's cool, man. My last question. Um, there's gonna be some kids listening to this, man. Like I know there's gonna be some kids listening to this who like kind of look up to you and or have the dream about clothing or like what's some advice you can give to somebody who's maybe in your shoes a long time ago, bro?
Yeah. Honestly, just keep your dreams alive. You know what I mean? Don't let anything compress them or like
Mm-hmm.
narrow them down. Just keep them big, you know, and get closer and closer to your dream every day. That's honestly what's gonna bring it to life, you know?
Yeah,
You
facts.
gotta you gotta put the work in, the steps in, and everything. But I say the biggest thing is um don't let any like don't take an L, you know?
Yeah,
Don't take a loss, you know, learn
yeah,
from
yeah,
everything.
yeah,
So if you really tap into that, like that's the key.
yeah,
You know, learning from all the losses. You know, everything you you do, you could think you do it right, you know? But if something goes wrong, you just gotta
keep going.
keep going, for real.
Keep going, man. And I'm gonna add on to that. One of the things that I was gonna say too, man, to anybody who's listening is, and this is gonna be a daily thing, and it's something I do, it's something you have to deal with, and it's just not listen to the negative thoughts, man.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like we can't on a daily basis.
Yeah,
You know, you
facts.
can't. It's just you gonna wake up tomorrow and have some negative thoughts. Like I'm gonna wake up tomorrow and do the same, and we really can't let that shit slow us down.
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
don't let them win.
Nah,
Yeah.
facts. But thanks, bro. Thanks for having us here at the store with you and all the people who work here, man. And
Yes, sir.
uh, I really appreciate it. And it's been fun being in here, and it's been fun seeing all the clothes. And I really hope people come check you guys out.
Yes, sir. Appreciate you for
No,
having me.
no problem, brother.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. How's that, Cole?
Good, bro.
It was cool.
Yeah, good.
Bet.
What you think? It was cool?
Yeah, it was cool.
Yeah, it was good.
It was definitely some different questions on there.
No, it was
Yeah,
definitely
it was good.
Yeah, I was trying to
Yeah.
bring it out. I was trying to bring it out. You know
Yeah.
what I mean?
Nah, I like that one.
Yeah.
It's cool.
It was cool. I think that's a lot of people don't know a lot of that shit about you.
Yeah, for real. Nobody
You know what I'm
don't know.
saying? And